Disclaimer: this video is for entertainment and informational purposes only. The views and opinions expressed in this video are those of the creator and do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization. The creator of this video is not responsible for any errors or omissions, or for any actions taken based on the information presented in this video. Viewer discretion is advised. In this episode, let's continue discussing the Manhattan Project. Actually, I would like to discuss some conspiracy theories, such as those involving MJ-12. According to rumors, there were conflicts between Oppenheimer himself and certain members of MJ-12. Alternatively, MJ-12 might have sought to take control and distrusted Oppenheimer. Therefore, after the war, due to his experiences, especially when Oppenheimer began participating in the Atomic Energy Commission, his leftist-leaning thoughts became more apparent, particularly during his time teaching at Berkeley. The most significant factor was that, apart from his wife, his brother was also a member of the Communist Party. Hence, during the Hoover era, the FBI had already been monitoring Oppenheimer in the early 1940s, even before he was involved in the development of the atomic bomb. Listening devices were installed in his home, office, and teaching spaces, and even his mail was likely intercepted and read. Because what we see now is not just a simple matter of the FBI openly monitoring him, it goes deeper into covert surveillance. Then there is another person, a member of the Atomic Energy Commission at that time, named Strauss. This person frequently argued with Oppenheimer and the others. Regarding the hydrogen bomb, Strauss was dissatisfied with Oppenheimer's views. He vehemently opposed further development of the hydrogen bomb, while Oppenheimer was in favor of it. There was actually a connection between Oppenheimer and Strauss during the congressional hearings. Strauss strongly opposed the export of radioactive isotopes to other countries. However, Oppenheimer argued before Congress that these materials were not as crucial as some electronic devices and were even less important than certain vitamins. He essentially stated that these materials were not necessary for the United States to export, as other countries could produce them as well. Strauss, who was the chairman of the Atomic Energy Commission at the time, had the full name of Louis Strauss. He was also considered a hawk during that time. As a result, on June 7, 1949, Oppenheimer appeared before the House Un-American Activities Committee to testify. The House Un-American Activities Committee was an investigative body of the House of Representatives dedicated to investigating communist infiltration in the U.S. government. Firstly, during this hearing, Oppenheimer admitted to having had connections with the American Communist Party since the 1930s, specifically the Communist Party of the United States. Several individuals, including his colleagues and students, also confirmed this. It was primarily during their time working together at Berkeley that they were members of the Communist Party. Furthermore, his brother and sister-in-law testified and acknowledged their membership in the Communist Party. Consequently, his brother Frank, who was a physics professor, was ultimately dismissed from the University of Minnesota due to these reasons. Over the years, Oppenheimer faced various difficulties. He was unable to continue his research work in physics, and his situation became challenging. Later, he went to Colorado and operated a ranch, raising cattle. Afterward, he could only teach physics at a high school, and it is said that he opened a privately owned science museum in San Francisco. Oppenheimer faced controversy in various years and even within certain circles, including disputes over patents. One particularly famous scientist, Edward Teller, expressed his dissatisfaction with the research assignments given to him by Oppenheimer during their time at Los Alamos. However, Teller's primary interest was in developing the hydrogen bomb, a powerful weapon, which eventually led him to leave Los Alamos. In 1951, Teller established another laboratory where he continued the research and development of the hydrogen bomb. This also involved what was known as thermonuclear weapons. Specifically, their delivery systems, including long-range jet bombers capable of carrying strategic thermonuclear weapons. The question then arose as to who would manage these weapons. Of course, the U.S. military had various branches, and it became a delicate issue as to whether the responsibility for deploying these nuclear weapons would lie with the Air Force. It was a sensitive matter in this field. There was internal disagreement within the U.S. military regarding which branch would have jurisdiction over these large-scale weapons. Who would oversee the nuclear weapons carried by submarines? If it was the nuclear weapons loaded on bombers, should it be managed by the Air Force? Many details surrounding these issues remained in dispute. Oppenheimer advocated against the development of nuclear weapons on such a massive scale because, as you know, the consequences would be catastrophic in the event of their detonation. Therefore, he consistently argued for the development of smaller tactical nuclear weapons to be used in limited battlefield scenarios. He also supported the idea that if such tactical nuclear weapons were indeed developed, they should be under the control of the Army. However, due to the ongoing power struggle between the Air Force and the Army over control, this issue remained contentious during the Cold War. In addition to the disputes between different branches of the military, there were also political considerations involved. Different debates and disagreements arose in this regard, which became reasons for later attacks against Oppenheimer. The chairman of the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission, Lewis Strauss, and Senator Brian McMahon, who co-authored the 1946 Atomic Energy Act, were among those who pressured Eisenhower to revoke Oppenheimer's security clearance. In 1953, Oppenheimer's security clearance was temporarily revoked due to a series of allegations against him, particularly regarding his associations with the Communist Party. He had to explain his connections with the Communist Party and respond to questions from members of Congress. Despite calls for his resignation, Oppenheimer chose not to step down and instead underwent a hearing to address the accusations. The time for this episode has arrived again, and the Manhattan Project will continue in the next episode. Please stay tuned. Thank you for watching.